The Relationship Between Parental Involvement and Academics by Amanda Head. When I was thinking about research topics and issues that I have seen over the course of my teaching career and am currently noticing in my first grade classroom, I decided to go with family involvement. Family involvement is a school-wide issue as well as an issue in my current classroom. After looking at my classroom data in reading and math, I found there is often a direct correlation to a struggling student and an uninvolved family. This leads me to research involving the relationship between family involvement and academic achievement. Statement of the research problem. In my class of 21st graders, 2 are currently on Tier 2 and Tier 3 for reading and math and lack motivation with their academics. These students fail to turn in homework and often do not finish classwork. They appear to be uninterested in their academics. This led me to look closely at these students' home lives. I found that I hear from these families much less than other students' families, and neither of these families have joined my Classroom Dojo system, where I communicate important information about our class and our learning. Families that are involved in their child's learning have more access to knowledge about school events, curriculum, classroom, and school expectations, and their child's strengths and weaknesses. Elish Piper, 2019. The purpose of this study is to evaluate the relationship between family involvement and student achievement. The study will address the hypothesis that the lack of parental involvement negatively affects a student's learning. Data. I reviewed data from my first grade class, 20 students in all. 2 of the 20 students are currently on Tier 2 and Tier 3 for reading and math and scored well below average on their dynamic indicators of basic literacy skills, DIBELS, standardized testing. These 2 students also have families that are hard to get in touch with, do not respond to classroom events, and have not joined our classroom communication system, Dojo. The pie chart shows the test scores of students whose parents have joined Dojo. It reveals that students whose parents are aware of classroom announcements and learning score at or above average on weekly tests and standardized testing. It also reveals that students whose parents have not joined the Classroom Dojo communication system score below average on weekly tests and standardized testing. Impact on student achievement. All grade levels are extremely important. First grade is a grade that is difficult and an enormous amount of learning takes place. Learning to read takes practice and repetition. A child needs an adult in their life besides their teacher to assist them in completing tasks and staying on top of their learning. Children are not born readers and need to be read to and immersed in literacy to become successful readers. First grade students are sent home with words and books to practice and read. If there is not an adult in the home willing to support this child, the practice does not get done. If the adult is not willing to join the teacher's communication system, Class Dojo, they will most likely not be able to receive necessary curriculum updates and skills for the student to practice. The first grader who has no one to practice with simply cannot catch up. I believe the lack of family involvement is the reason these 2 students are below average and lack motivation in school. Background investigation. In my personal classroom, students with little to no parental involvement tend to lack motivation and the necessary skills to become successful in learning. The 2 children in my classroom whose families have refused to join my classroom communication system are currently on Tier 2 and Tier 3 for reading and math. These children's families seem to be unaware of curriculum and do not assist students with their learning at home. Family involvement in schools promotes many positive aspects of learning. A child with a supportive family has a support system that is aware of learning objectives and has the help needed to be successful. According to Laura and Sarah Costi, 2019, family involvement also promotes self-esteem in children as well as decreases retention rates and increases student attendance. The school and classroom culture also benefit from parental involvement, which in turn benefits all children, not just the ones whose families are involved. Laura and Sarah Costi, 2019, also found that promoting programs that increase parental involvement can have a positive impact on students, schools, as well as communities. Topper, King, and Shelton's 2010 research also suggests that parent programs that promote parental involvement can be beneficial to a child's learning, specifically at an early age. They also suggest that the degree of involvement plays a significant role in the impact on the child. More involvement would promote more positive results, as opposed to less involvement with lesser results. Topper, King, and Shelton, 2010. Young students need a support system away from school to assist them with their learning and self-esteem. There is much research that suggests a positive correlation between family involvement and academic achievement. Topper, King, and Shelton, 2010. If parents are knowledgeable about instructional goals and curriculum, they can support their child as needed. Nikali, Bachman, Vatruba-Dreisel, 2010. Nikali, Bachman, and Vatruba-Dreisel, 2010, found that parental involvement promotes achievement, positive behavior, as well as a child's social and emotional well-being. This research also suggests that if a student's family is highly involved, there are typically little behavior problems, and social functioning can be heightened. It is important to strive to get students the support needed for academic success and their social emotional well-being. When a family is uninvolved in a child's schooling, it negatively affects the child's academic performance. The lack of parental involvement directly affects the reading and math scores of first-grade students. Students need an adult besides their teacher to help them practice necessary skills in order to become better readers and better at mathematics. Best practices to improve proficiency. A child's teacher should strive to rally adults in the student's life to get involved in classroom and school experiences to promote involvement. If the teacher is unsuccessful at getting the parent or guardian to become involved, a counselor can then step in and promote success for the child. Research suggests that communities have programs that can support students in their learning when a parent is unable or unwilling to do so. The counselor will try to involve the child in a community support program. Dreisen, Smith, and Sleegers, 2005. Also, according to Dreisen, Smith, and Sleeger, 2005, community involvement is particularly beneficial in areas where there are mostly minority groups. It is suggested that schools, families, and communities should partner together for the benefit of all. According to Dreisen, Smith, and Sleeger, 2005, such a partnership is then construed as the process in which those involved mutually support each other and attune their contributions with the objective of promoting the learning, motivation, and development of pupils. In addition, according to Cole, 2017, education begins at home. The responsibility to socialize and educate children is a shared obligation between parents and schools. Cole suggests that not only do students benefit academically, but their general well-being benefits, and it helps them later in life. When students enter school, so much goes on inside them, and having an involved parent calms them and gives them a sense of security and confidence to succeed. Cole, 2017. Elish Piper also touches on a partnership between parents and teachers in her article entitled Parent Involvement in Reading. Elish Piper concluded that communication is key, and having open dialogue with families and student struggles in the classroom and reading specifically helps students work hard and strive to achieve goals. Elish Piper, 2014. It would seem that parental involvement is imperative, and a partnership between parents, schools, and communities is even more beneficial for a student's academic achievement and overall well-being. Population. Concord Elementary School services pre-kindergarten through 5th grade students and is located right outside of Birmingham, Alabama. Due to some rezoning mandates, this school has grown significantly within the last year. Currently, the enrollment is 283 students. As far as demographics, 98% of students identify as Caucasian and about 3% identify as African American. 39% of students are eligible for free and reduced lunches. Public School Review 2020. There are 3 to 4 general education teachers per grade level at Concord Elementary. This equals about 25 general education classrooms. There are 2 special education classrooms, which are resource and speech. Sample. The sample includes 18 of 54 first grade students at Concord Elementary. These students are from a first grade homeroom class. 2 of these 18 students are on Tier 2 and Tier 3 for low academic achievement in reading. These two students' families also have families that have not joined the Classroom Communication System Class Dojo. The sample is made up of 10 males and 8 females. 11 of these students are Caucasian and 2 are African American. 5 of these students are Hispanic. I did not perform this research because of COVID-19 and the restrictions it placed on parental involvement. If I had, the sample technique would have been quantitative, using the Jefferson County Quarter 1 District Common Phonics Assessment and parental involvement data from Classroom Dojo app. The entire population of my class would have been utilized as a convenient sample for the first grade students enrolled at Concord Elementary School. The previous year kindergarten teachers try to divide the classrooms up as equally as possible. They consider demographics. They also consider the intellectual ability of the students, as well as behavior concerns. I chose this sample technique because I can easily collect data from these students, as I have access to all reports needed for this study. Role of participants and impact on participants. Each student in my first grade class would be assessed using the Jefferson County Quarter 1 District Common Phonics Assessment. I would obtain the data from this assessment piece in order to use it for this study, as well as guide my small group reading instruction. I plan to send home a consent form that would need to be signed by each student's parent or guardian. The form would state the importance of parental involvement in student academics and inform parents that I will be conducting research to determine how valuable this could be. I will not share any identifiable information of students within the study. Each student would be identified using a number 1 through 20 throughout the documents. The conclusion of this study would determine the impact that parental involvement has on first grade students and academics, and I believe that it would reveal to parents the importance of parental involvement in their child's academics. Timeline. The Jefferson County Common District Phonics Assessment would be given to each first grader at 4 intervals throughout the school year. After the first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks, third 9 weeks, and fourth 9 weeks. The results of these assessments would be used to determine early reading skills and progression to the next grade level. Parental involvement would be determined throughout the school year by whether or not a parent joins the Classroom Communication System Class Dojo. Constitutive and operative definitions. Numbers 1 through 20 represent the participants of the study. Jefferson County District Common Quarter 1 Phonics Assessment is an assessment given in the Jefferson County School District to all first grade students to assess their phonemic awareness and phonological awareness to determine early reading skills. Not progressing. Students that make a score of 60 or below on the phonics assessment will be given an N for not progressing to end of the year standards. Limited progress. Students that make a score between 61 and 74 on the phonics assessment will be given an L for limited progress. Progressing. Students that score a 75 or above will be given a P for progressing. Involved parents. Parents that are considered involved have joined our Classroom Communication System Class Dojo. Uninvolved parents. Parents that are considered to be uninvolved have chosen not to join our Classroom Communication System Class Dojo and have shown no effort to communicate with their child's teacher. Description of data. Students that score a 75 or above on the Jefferson County District Common Phonics Assessment are to be considered as progressing to the end of the year. Students that score between a 61 and 74 on the assessment are to be considered making limited progress. Students that score a 60 or below are to be considered not progressing to the end of the year standards. This grading scale is a universal to all first grade assessments within the county. Phonics progress monitoring assessments will be given bi-weekly during the 9-week period. Parental involvement will be accumulated through the Classroom Communication System Class Dojo. Reliability and validity of instrument. The Jefferson County District Common Phonics Assessment is a district-wide assessment given to every first grader that attends a Jefferson County school. This assessment determines a student's phonemic and phonological awareness to guide reading instruction. The data from this assessment will determine reading progress throughout the school year. Parental involvement will be shown throughout the school year on the Classroom Communication System Class Dojo. Collaborative resources. A school-wide reading interventionist will work closely with me to help me meet the reading needs of each student in my class. She will pull struggling students daily for small groups to reteach standards and try to close the discrepancy